Good morning, viewers. We know nothing about what will happen in the future. What should we do? We know nothing about what will happen in the future, so what should we do? This is very interesting because most of us would be happy to know what is going to happen the next hour, what is going to happen to us in the next 2 hours, what is going to happen to us tomorrow, next year, 10 years ahead, what is going to happen. So that we can plan and we can make decisions accordingly. But unfortunately, there is no way we can do that. I shared this message with some of my colleagues at work recently, and as an introduction to my message, I asked 2 questions. One was directed to those who are searching for marriage partners, and the other one was directed to those who travel a lot, and I received very interesting answers. The first one, which was directed to those who are seeking for marriage partners, went like this. If you knew nothing about the fertility of the woman you are proposing to marry, what would you do? That was the question. And the interesting answer I received from one of the friends was that they would take her for a fertility test. This was interesting because ever since I have lived, I have never had anyone take their fiancé for a fertility test before they wed. Usually, the fertility test issues come when they have married and a year has elapsed and they have not had any pregnancy. That's when I have seen people think about fertility issues. But otherwise, they would simply marry and hope the wife is going to get pregnant and produce. And I'm sure the ladies would also not want to marry a man who is sterile. So they could also, if that was possible, take their boyfriends or fiancés for fertility tests, but very few, if any, you do that. Then the question I asked to those who travel a lot was that if you knew nothing about the skill or mental state of the person seated in the driver's seat of the bus you are going to board on your way to Kampala, what would you do? And the interesting answer I received for this was that I would simply pray. And I also know that very few of us would even pray. We don't even think about the mental state of this person. We don't know whether they are mad or whether they are drunk. We never think about that. We even never think about whether the vehicle itself is in a good mechanical condition. We simply pay, sit, and hope we will reach where we are going. And if I continued to ask more questions of this nature, it would have turned out that in certain situations, there are certain things, there are certain steps we can take to avoid undesirable consequences of what we are about to do. While in other situations, we find that there is nothing we can do if we are ignorant about certain things. And yet, we would want to know and then plan accordingly. If I knew that the vehicle would have an accident, I would stop and not board it. But unfortunately, we have no way of knowing such things. And so that's why I ask, we know nothing about the future. So what should we do? And for us Christians, we are concerned about when Jesus is coming back. We would want to know, because I asked some of my friends recently about what they would do if they were told that they were going to die tomorrow. Many of them told me they would go and start repenting and in preparation to meet their Savior. But because we don't know, people tend to think they are still here for a long time. And so they don't do what they should do in preparation for meeting Jesus Christ to stand in before the judgment seat. So we are not sure when Jesus is coming back. 2,000 years have elapsed and we have been told day after day that he's coming soon, but we don't know when. Yet we would want to know so that we prepare well. So let us read Matthew, from Matthew chapter 24, verses 36 to 39, and see what message we can pick that should guide us in what we should do, since we do not know anything about what is going to happen in the future. Verse 36 of chapter 24 is where I'm starting from. No one knows about the day or hour, not even the angels in heaven, nor the Son, but only the Father. As it was in the days of Noah, so it will be at the coming of the Son of Man. For in the days before the flood, people were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, up to the day Noah entered the ark. And they knew nothing about what would happen until the flood came and took them all away. This is very important, and this is where I picked my theme for today's message. They knew nothing about what would happen until the flood came and took them all away. And the Bible goes on to say that that is how it will be at the coming of the Son of Man.